Hello! Today we are here to discuss Wishland, 3rd edition. So this was a Kickstarter that just arrived, but apparently it dates back a little way, as you mentioned. So this is
based off of
expansion.
Dreams from America?
Dreams from America expansion was the Kickstarter, and then I got the whole bundle since I didn't have the original game.
Which included metal money, probably your first player marker.
Yeah, there's different pewter and gold.
For track markers.
Yeah, it's not real gold, I'm sure, but...
Probably not.
But it is the golden ticket. So before we go any further, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down there so you can follow along as I stumble through my words even further.
And because we play board games.
And because we play board games.
And they're awesome.
A lot. And we are awesome. And they're awesome.
That's true, too.
So, you want to be with us. Join us.
And how else would you know unless you hit that notification?
Right, exactly. So, Rob, what can you tell us about Wishland?
So, Wishland initially came out in 2021, and like Randy said, this is a Kickstarter for the new expansion. So the overall rank on Board Game Geek is 5,094, individually rated at a 7.2, so not too bad. Plays 1 to 4 people in about 75 minutes, which I think pretty accurate, and for ages 14 and up. Designed by Carlos Michon Amato, and art by Philip Atch and Fran Fidesz. Published by Lost Games. Now, because this is the Kickstarter, it's not out for retail yet, but I can't even find it for pre-order yet. So the only price I found is for people who's selling it on Board Game Geek, and it ranged between 130 and 135, which I'm assuming would be this version. So the one with the metal coins and all that good stuff.
All right, so let's get into that good stuff. So you get 2 big boards, well, 1 big board and 1 small board that combine.
Which is different than 2 big boards.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the big board is from the Wishland. The small board is the Dreams from America expansion.
Right. And the thing I think is a little odd is that there's like space on the board for everything except for the purple cards.
Yeah,
that is so odd.
Yeah, I think that people were just sticking them up on that dead area up there, but it's not marked for it.
Yeah.
You get screen printed wooden meeples in different colors, a ton of different colors. Yeah,
which is kind of cool. But
I assume that was Kickstarter. Add-ins. Whenever you reach certain goals,
levels.
But yeah, if you want to be any color you want to be, there's probably a color for it. They'll make you happy in there.
Yeah. Randy got these like sad pumpkin-looking things, and I got purple unicorns.
Yeah,
but there's like a ton of other ones.
Yeah, it's like, you said you'd be purple. I'm like, which purple? There's 2 purples. There's 2 blues. There's like, I don't know how many greens. There's a teal. There's, I mean, you name it, the color's in there.
No, I think the other thing that we should know too is that you had 2 different color sets that were kind of messed up.
Yeah, they sent me 2 green hats instead of
you only need
blue. It was in the bundle with the blue-gray, I should say. And then the red ones, they sent me, instead of a hat, they sent me an extra briefcase without the paint on it, which I thought that was really odd.
That is like odd.
The screen printing was not on it.
And then you were saying that that's not unusual. You said a lot of people have
had different versions or missing things or what have you. I had something to represent everything. It was just those 2 things were jacked. So apparently they had some production issues with this round. But the guy was very responsive that makes it or whatever, and he said he'd get me replacements out.
Very cool.
So yeah, he's been very good about responding to people's messages out on the forums.
So the card quality, everything's got that's linen finish.
Yep.
Not too terribly thick, but the linen finish is nice.
It is a table hog once you start building out.
You're building out this tableau of cards, and it sucks up a lot of space.
Yeah. There's some extraneous things in it, like they have achievements, which they give you like 9. There's a lot of achievements, but you only play with 9.
Play with 9, which is nice. The variety is great.
But instead of just taking the achievement when you accomplish it, they actually have stars printed to put on the achievement.
And they're nice, but it's just why? Just take the cardboard and score it at the end of the game.
Exactly. So, you probably want to take it during, because some of it may contribute to other goals. But you could take the cardboard and move yourself up the track. That there's no reason for that.
Right.
The other thing that's blatantly missing is it's easy to lap that track And there's nothing to mark once you've hit the end of it that you're redoing that lap.
Right. Yeah, it's not like it's got a 50 on the other side of your score marker.
Right.
So
yeah, there's things that are extra that feel like they're way extra, and the metal for the ticket and the pewter things, they have perfectly fine screen printed wood ones in the box that actually are more relevant to the tracks. They match the color, so you know exactly where they go. These, it's like, okay, I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to do with these, and they're not listed amongst the contents.
I mean, they're nice.
Yeah, they're attractive, but I don't understand why they didn't just go with. I mean, there's nothing at all wrong with the wooden ones being screen printed in there, so and they're more functional.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, the golden ticket I think is kind of cool because
yeah.
at least it represents the Willy Wonka, and you know you can pass that easily back and forth.
Sure.
The other one's an orange wooden ticket, but it's still a wooden ticket that you can easily mark.
Right.
So yeah, I think there's the quality of these is pretty good. The coins,
the metal money's great.
Yeah, the money is good. I'm probably going to give this. I'll probably get an 8.5 because of the metal coin and the card quality. Because the cards are the main function of the game. And of course the screen printed meeples that are every color is a different creature.
Yeah, and I like that. Well, that's more the theme, I think. But I think that I think overall quality, I think 7.5 is good. And I do like the fact that you laid the board out and it's not bowed. Usually with these folding boards, they're bowed.
Well, it wasn't at first when you get out. You have to kind of
but still, even though it usually will still kind of bow a little bit, and it's laid out pretty flat. So that's.
So you went with 7.5. I said 8.5.
No, I went 7.5.
Okay. So. All right. So moving on to the theme. So this is a very colorful theme. It really is. You're building an amusement park. And
beautiful artwork.
Yeah, the artwork is amazing, and like you have ticket offices. Every one functions exactly the same,
but they're all different entrances.
Yeah, they all have different entrances, and they look like they're for like if you're at Disney or one of these other parks, like the different worlds within,
or maybe Wishland.
Yeah, in this case, Wishland. But yeah, I thought that was really cool that they had the different art for every one of the cards. I mean, I don't think there are any duplicates.
It's just a lot of artwork.
Yeah, but they had, they didn't even need to do that because I mean, there's no purpose for it. They all function exactly the same.
Yeah, it's just a nice little extra.
Yeah,
an extra touch. I like it a lot.
So I think they went above and beyond as far as the art in this and the thought of building this amusement park world. Every color card represents a different thing, like hotels or staffing or rides and what have you, restaurants. So I think they've done a great job of capturing building of an amusement park. I'm probably going to go ahead and give this. I'll probably give it an 8.5 on this too.
I think I'm going a little bit higher, just because the art is good, but the fact that they did so much of it. I mean, that took a lot of effort, and I think they should be recognized for that. I think I'm going to go 9.
All right. So moving on to the rule books. So there's 2 different rule books. You got the main rule book for Wishland, which has a cover that matches the box, and it is 28 pages in length. And then you have a little one, Wishland, for the expansion, and it's 20 pages in length.
But it's like what, like a third the size?
Yeah, it's tiny because the box is tiny. But most of the space in these books is contained with basically a listing of all the cards. I like that they did that because there's really no questions about the cards. Problem is,
but isn't it? And I think it's a big but.
Yeah, some of the things, like the achievements in particular, did not match the achievements in the book.
And the numbering.
That was a huge one too.
Yeah, that really bothers me. So, I mean, it's really nice that with the achievements on the back, they put a number, so it's easy to look it up. But the problem is that you don't know which book they're in necessarily.
Yeah, because they restarted, instead of having the continuation of numbers, they restarted the numbering. But with the cards, they didn't. I mean, the gray cards that were new were all numbered the same.
Right. And you know where to go with the gray because of this expansion, but you can't tell the difference on the achievement tokens, which is which.
But like with the brown cards that were added as part of the expansion, the entrepreneur cards, their numbering continued. They didn't start over.
Oh, that's so odd.
Yeah. So it was really just the achievements that they did that way.
And then I've always been a big fan that when a company does an expansion and then you get everything in like an all-in, that they have an option at least to do an updated rule book so that then the expansion stuff is in the main rule book, so you don't have multiple rule books around. So like Chip Theory Games does that a lot with their games, and I really appreciate that. So I think that would have been a big plus with this one.
Yeah, so the expansion adds on another deck of cards, the gray cards. It also adds on a 5th player. So but you have like 20 different color varieties, so you got plenty. You have enough pieces if you wanted to have more players, but the game doesn't support it because there's not enough cards.
But I do have to admit that the iconography is pretty self-explanatory for the most part.
Once you get the gist of
it, yeah. So at first, with this being my first playthrough, I was a little confused on some of it because I didn't know if it was necessarily in-game or if it's right now or things like that, or like how much money you got based off of the iconography. But once I got into it, I thought it was pretty easy.
Yeah, and they have nice cheat sheets for the hotel cards, which are the green cards, and they're color-coded green.
And a very little cheat sheet for each person.
Yeah.
Like, good luck reading it.
So you're going to end up passing these around a lot, and then this is for the gray cards, the dream cards. So they're all color-coded, which I thought that was nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, what the individual players have a cheat sheet that has the different symbols you might find, but again, this is just the base game.
Right, and it's tiny.
Yeah, and it's tiny. So it doesn't include the add-on symbols from the gray cards, the Dreamland cards. And then it's really non-descriptive at all. So it has the round summary, but it's literally 1-word, 2-word type thing. So this card's kind of useless. These are much more useful, and they should have had more of them to
for at least each side of your table.
Yeah.
If not enough for everybody.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is also in the rule book, so you could use it as 2 copies if you wanted, but you'd have to sift through the rule book because it's kind of in the middle.
Yeah, not on the back.
Yeah, it's not on the back. The back just has the round summary.
Got it.
So
what would you give it?
I'll probably give it a 7 because overall it's still a good rule book, and it does include all the cards, which is nice.
If you can find them.
So you don't have to go and try to look it up online. Why is this card missing?
That's true.
It didn't do a subset of the most asked about cards and leave you hanging if it's not one of those, which is a big pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think a 7's fair for it.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about gameplay. So at the beginning of the game, you will have 4 workers. The rest will be locked on the board. And you're going to have each one of these cards will be dealt out. And the first thing you're going to do is, first of all, determine turn order. And the turn order, whoever's first will get this golden ticket. And they get to choose first where they place their top hat. And that will determine turn order for the round as far as taking actions. But also you'll get a perk for most of the spaces. Now, if you're dead set on being first, if you take the first spot, you won't get a perk, but you'll be guaranteed first action. So then once the turn order is determined, the first player will take their action, and they'll put one of their workers on an empty, because the board will be empty, except for you'll have the cards all out. You can place in wherever these ticket spaces are that they show like kind of a shirt on them. You can play one of your workers there and take any card from that space. You have to pay the coin in the upper corner. Now, when you do place your hat at the beginning, I should mention you get an income phase. And at first, it's 5 coin plus any cards you have accumulated during the course of the game. There's some of them that will generate ongoing income as well, and there's other places you might gain income. But generally at the first, you're going to have 5 coin. There is one space. One of the perks is a free bonus coin.
Yeah, so you get up to 6.
That's
it.
Beginning of the game, money is really tight.
Yeah.
Later in the game, you'll find you'll have tons of money and you won't need it all. But early in the game, money's tight and your workers are tight because you only have 4 of them.
in addition to having the potential to play multiple workers.
Yeah. So whenever you play, if there's people already occupying that space, you have to play based upon the sets of workers there. You got to pay one more than the count of you distinct sets of workers. So that,
And that's an important distinction.
Exactly. Initially, it would be like 2 and then 3. But if somebody, one of the things you can do on your turn is recall your workers.
Right.
That takes an action to do. You don't just naturally
Which
get
hurts.
your workers back. Yeah, so you don't want to do it any more than you have to. But early in the game, you're going to have to do it quite frequently until you build up your workers and get them unlocked.
Yeah.
But when you recall them, then it will reduce the count of stacks there. So if, like, I had played 1, and then you played 2, and then I played 3, and then you recalled your workers,
the 1 and 3
are still there.
But it's 2
But there's
sets.
2 sets. So if I wanted to play there again, I would have to pay 3 workers to go there, because even though there's already a 3 there,
doesn't matter.
It's the number of sets that matters. But you're going to find this probably plays better at more player count than 2, because you're going to have a lot more contention.
Yeah.
So like with 2 players, you could pretty much do anything you wanted. You still had to recall from time to time.
Yeah, but especially once you get all your workers unlocked. Like my last round, I just spent all of them because one of the things you can do is reduce the cost of your action when you unlock them all.
When you unlock all of them.
Yeah, and so you can reduce it up to 3 times. Yeah. So I was able to make a card fairly expensive, only cost 1. And
So, the different types of cards you have, first of all, these are ticket booths. The ticket booths are important because the number of ticket booths plus the number of rides determines how many of all the other types of cards you're going to own.
Because you got it, like you can see here, I did them in columns.
Yeah.
And so if I only have 1 column, I can only get 1 of each color card. But if I can get another column, then I can do those colors again.
Yeah, so purple and yellow kind of go hand in hand. There's no limit of how many purples or yellows.
It's just that yellows usually give you stuff, where purples don't.
Yeah, purples are just a card that gives you an extra access to another column. Now, there are cards that might modify rules.
Absolutely, yeah. So I had a card that every time I got a purple card, I got to do something fun.
Yeah.
But, yellow's generally better.
Yeah, so but yellow can be quite expensive, but it does grant you immediate victory points. The rides typically are how you are going to generate victory points.
Yeah.
During the course of the game. Then you've got the blue cards; those are staffing cards. Now there's 2 tracks on the board, not to mention the workers. So there's a happiness track, and then there is a. We called it the business track, but I think it had a different name.
But it's a briefcase. It looks like a briefcase.
So basically, if you move up that track, along the way, you'll unlock money on the business track and
victory points.
You'll unlock victory points along the happiness track.
Right.
And if you max both of those out, actually, if you reach 6 on them, you get to trigger income of victory points and money. And if you max it completely out, you will get a victory point bonus at the end of the game based upon a condition, which, for the happiness track, it's for having the sets of 5 cards of different colors. For the money track, it's based upon the income you would produce for the final round if you were producing money, divided by 5. So it's not how much money you accumulated.
Right.
That's kind of irrelevant. It may be a tiebreaker, I can't recall. But basically, those tracks, during the course of the game, you'll want to move up. But then the other option is it also can unlock workers.
And that's a big part of the game, is because if you're still at 4, you're in middle of the game, you're going to be very limited in what you can do.
Yeah.
You have to wait until your opponent recalls everything to hopefully unlock some spots for you to go.
Yeah.
So you really, really need to unlock your other workers very quickly.
Yeah. Now there is an advertising space where you can go and you actually earn a coin and unlock either a worker or go up one of those tracks by 1. So you go there, but this is again another space where if someone's already there, you have to pay 2 of your workers to get 1 back. So you want to get there whenever it's empty if you're going to go there, ideally. Or especially early in the game.
Yeah.
later in the game you'll very rarely use it unless you're just desperate for a coin.
Or to go up one of those tracks.
Yeah, or if you want to go up one of those tracks, although there's better ways.
There's definitely better ways, but sometimes this guy over here would block me and I wouldn't be able to go up there, so I needed to go there to bump me up that one extra spot to either get extra coin, but more importantly, get that extra 2 income. That's huge.
Yeah. The red cards represent restaurants, and they are money generators. So that's where you're going to get ongoing income. Sometimes you'll get a perk that lets you move up one of those tracks or get a worker back or what have you. But most commonly, they're going to generate you income. The green cards are the hotel cards, and they will have various abilities that are either ongoing effects or they're in-game scoring. And then the gray cards are part of the expansion. Those are the dream cards. They are going to give you victory points based upon, at the end of the game, you get a bonus, which we didn't score that, but you get based upon player count and where you fall as far as how many gray cards you have. At the end of the game, you'll get a victory point bonus, but also they have a hodgepodge of all the other card varieties. So you might see income there, you might see the different icons for the different tracks. You might see in-game victory points. It's just whatever comes up on them. So you need to collect different ones of each kind. Additionally, there's some set collection in this game, particularly on the blue cards, where there's icons in the bottom right corner that will give you, based upon a chart on the board.
And those icons are usually on the blue card, so you have them in the lower corner. So it's a little black icon.
And then all of the colors, well, the green, the red, the blue, and the yellow in particular.
They all have ticket
they have ticket icons, which is another set collection.
Yeah, and that's the last color card, the black card, where it can score off that.
Yeah, by themselves they don't typically score, although some of the achievements will be based on them. But also these black cards are the mascot cards, and if you get those, you want to collect the icons that are pictured on those, and they'll generate a victory point per icon you have.
Yeah.
So basically you play 7 rounds, and you get 4 actions per round. Doesn't matter how many workers you've unlocked, you're only going to get 4 actions. So any workers you have, you'll have carry over to the next round. And then
again, you have to spend an action to get them back.
Yeah. So now there are some cards that actually give you, that Miranda had one of those the first time we played, where it let her just automatically recall
that would have been
the income phase. Yeah, so there are some cards like that will just give you a
really
free.
Nice.
Yeah, that's one of the ways she dominated against us. There's different cards that will lend you in most of the rules in this game. So I like you're building your own engine the way you want to build it. I like that, although you're at the mercy of what comes up, the 4 cards that come up, and what your opponents take too.
Yeah, and there's really no way to clear the board off other than at the end of the round. So if you don't like what's in the row, tough up. You have to wait until the next round to see what comes up.
Yeah.
So that would have been kind of nice to see if there was an action related to that. But overall, I don't think it was that big of a deal.
No.
Because generally, unless you're a poor shuffler like me, because it seemed like those blue cards, they were all, I didn't shuffle them well, like all the briefcases came out at one time, or all the smiley faces came out at one time. And he took a huge advantage of that. Because once all these 3 briefcase cards, and he shot up that track, and then 2 rounds later, then all the smiley faces, and he shot up that track. So it was pretty fortunate for him.
Yeah. So I like the concept of this game. I think it's got a little wonky in a few places, particularly with the achievements. Because the achievements to me sound like they should be, at least 3 or 5 victory points.
Yeah, all of them are worth 1.
They're all worth 1. So,
and some of them are hard.
Yeah.
Some of them were fairly easy, but like 5 of one color or 10 unique icons, or some of those are tough.
Yeah, especially since you're trying to collect the same.
Yeah.
So having distinct ones is counterintuitive to what you're trying to accomplish unless you have other goals that meet that too. It so happened later on I got one of the cards that also rewarded for having those distinct icons. But yeah, in general, yeah, you're wanting to collect the same icon, so having an achievement that's counter to that sends you out of your way to get it. And it's one victory point, so it's like, is it,
is it worth it?
Is it really worth it? But if you leave them there, somebody else is going to take them.
And that's potentially 9 victory points.
Yeah.
That.
However, you can just buy yellow cards and get 5 or 6 victory points on a yellow card. So it's not like there's not better ways to get victory points in those achievements. They just seemed like they were underpowered.
Right.
So that said, I still really enjoyed this game.
I did too.
And I'm probably at a 7.5 on it. It's where I think I am.
I think that's a good score. Between 7.5 and 8. I mean, I really enjoyed playing it. I guess my only criticism would be the length of the game. I thought that it felt like it took longer to get to the end than it should have. But it's not that big of a deal. It just felt longer than what I like in a game. But yeah, I think 7.5 is a good score.
All right. Well, that's our thoughts on Wishland. So if you've had a chance to play it, let us know what you thought. If you had a chance to go to an amusement park recently, let us know what you thought of that too.
Or if you play cards at the amusement park, which is what a weird coincidence, But anyway,
I can't see you on a park bench there playing this game. That would be very difficult.
That would be funny though.
Yeah,
playing Wishland at Kings Island.
Disney World
or Disney World, something like that. That'd be funny.
During the hurricane that it went through.
That would have been bad.
Yeah. All right.
There you go.
And our thoughts go out to all the people down there in Florida facing that hurricane. That was 2 hurricanes back to back.
North Carolina, and it's just not good.
No. Hopefully you're recovering well and moving forward and getting all the help you need. And my brother lives down there, so he was in the midst of it. But thankfully it seems to have bypassed Orlando. I think Orlando has like a magic bubble around it.
Yeah, it's a giant Mickey thing.
Yeah, it's a giant Mickey hat. Because it seems like every hurricane and goes through somehow just diffuses or bypasses the majority of Orlando. So he got a light brushing. He was out without power for a day or so, but in general there wasn't
not
too
that
much
big
damage.
of a deal.
Yeah. So all right,
let us know.
All right, so okay, until next time, you keep on looking for that golden ticket, and we'll keep playing. Bye.
Bye.